Hey guys, so today I really just kind of want to rant. I'm not going to read off any statistics or anything like that because with what I'm about to rant about, I'm so tired of seeing statistics about it and nothing happening, nothing changing. Basically, my upload schedule this week has been a little different. Not that it's been very consistent, but on Mondays I like to do the series Let's Chat, Tuesday a tutorial, Wednesday another one-off Let's Chat, Thursday another tutorial, and then something fun for Friday. Well, today I didn't get to a Let's Chat and just posted up a Friday video instead because I was dealing with medical stuff. Nothing too serious. I've mentioned before I have a kidney transplant and I have to take, pretty tedious care of it, honestly. And it has a little infection, so I was trying to just get to a doctor's appointment so I could get some antibiotics. I already knew what was up. I've had it for 13 years. You know your body pretty well after a certain amount of time and when it's not feeling right. And the doctor I normally go to doesn't take Medicaid. I'm on Medicaid. I got on it back in August, September because I had to have a procedure done to get rid of precancerous cells in my cervix, and I was working part-time at a grocery store, so I didn't have benefits, wasn't making enough money to buy private insurance, and yeah, so I had to do something, so I was able to get on Medicaid, and that thankfully takes care of all my medicines, because like out of pocket my medicines would be over $100 a month. Just one of them was like $115, and I'm congested and stuff because I have allergies in the middle of January. And tea. But it just really frustrated me when I called this doctor I always go to, and they're like, "Oh, we don't take Medicaid, or we don't take because there's different branches. It's a very complicated process. There's a lot to it." And they're like, "Oh, well, we don't take this branch, this plan you're on. We take this, but that doesn't help you. But you can pay $75 when you get here the day of the appointment, and she can diagnose you, but if you need to get labs done, if you need any meds or a referral, that's all going to have to come out of pocket too, because they don't have a Medicaid number to send with a referral with the medicines or any of that stuff." So I had to look through my network. Thankfully I've made it easy where you can like log in and like Google search what's in your network through your provider's website. And most of what I found when I did that were pediatricians. I'm not a child. I know I sound like one and I look very young, but I'm 28 years old, grown ass woman. I have to go see a big girl doctor. And my kidney doctor, my specialist, is at Emory, and I see them every 6 months. And even then, I still have like a bill for $100 or something, even afterwards. Or they said it was not a bill. I don't know. I didn't want to look at it. I need to, but I didn't want to. You get real tired of looking at medical bills after a while. But so I finally found a doctor local that takes my insurance, a general practitioner, but they can't see me until February 4th. That's 2 weeks from now. And I mean, they scheduled me in as early as they could, and I appreciate that, and they treated me like a human being, because something I've also noticed being on Medicaid, not with like my doctor who did the procedure in September for my cervix, but I've had to like talk to other doctors, like the doctor, the place that didn't take my Medicaid. One person I talked to was really sweet about it and understanding and caring. The other person just kept repeating themselves like I was an idiot, like I didn't know what I was talking about, why, and like kind of like, why are you even bothering trying to go to the doctor? It's like, just, I felt like they were thinking down about me. I'm like, I had a full-time job where I had benefits, and I paid $420 a month for those benefits out of my paycheck. That was only $500 every 2 weeks, so $1,000 a month. 420 of that went to private insurance, and it barely covered anything. And I was with that job for a year and a half. I'm gonna try very hard not to get loud, but this is something that really pisses me off and is honestly unacceptable. The American healthcare medical system needs reformed. It is just unacceptable, the amount of people who go uninsured because of pre-existing conditions, shit they can't control. If I can't control that my kidneys failed when I was 14. Like, I wasn't smoking or drinking or anything like that. And even if I was for some reason at 14, it still shouldn't matter if I'm covered, if, I can live or not. That's just, I don't understand it. And then you have Big Pharma on top of all of that shit. It's just, but yeah, so I'm on Medicaid and they take care of a lot and people get so upset when anybody even suggests that, oh, if we had 40% taxes, we would be able to have universal health care. $2 a month or every paycheck goes to Medicaid, and you're not getting to see any of that. So if you're not on Medicaid, and everyone who gets a paycheck in America, you have a percentage of that paycheck automatically goes to Social Security and Medicaid. You're not going to retire. You're probably not going to retire in time to see any of that Social Security, and you're not able to see any of that Medicaid. So why would we not just stop that and develop something that you get to see? It's like when I had the insurance through my job, they were great on medications. I think most I paid was $25, and I'm on 5 different medications, 2 of which I take twice a day. And I get months worth of prescription every month. So $25 a month, not bad. But I had one hospital stay for a week, had a really, really bad kidney infection, so they pumped me full of antibiotics, and then a few months later, I got a bill for $1,000 for $1,450. I worked retail. $500 every 2 weeks. After the 200, it was 200 out of each check came out. So I already was putting this $400 into this insurance. And then they didn't want to pay this. And at this point, I'd already been with the job for over a year. So whatever math that equals up, probably significantly close to being able to pay for most of this. That ended up going to collections because I couldn't pay it. Just got paid off this past November. I was in the hospital in 2017. So it took me over a year and a half to pay that medical bill off. That is absurd. That is ridiculous. That is irresponsible of this country. I just can't wrap my mind around it. It's all it is, these private insurance companies, they use things like pregnancy and pre-existing conditions to keep people from getting insurance because people who are already sick are going to need those things paid for. They're like, oh, well, we don't want to spend more money. I'm like, why are you in the insurance business then? I can't wrap my mind around it. It's like, you'd rather let people fucking die. Good people. Or anybody die rather than make sure they can get their insulin. Or their kidney transplant, or their transplant meds. Or go see their doctor to make sure they're okay. I have to go to a doctor so I know my kidney is acting right. And I have to get labs done to watch the creatinine level. Creatinine is monitoring the function of your kidney. And if it's even a decimal off, you could have a significant chance of losing that kidney. And then having to go back on dialysis. Even more medications. When I was on dialysis, I had a cath right here, went straight to my heart, and then that hooked up to a machine 3 days a week for 3 hours a week, and then I was on 13 different medications, and I was having to go to the doctor up in Atlanta every month. So this doesn't even include transportation cost. It doesn't include your parents or your significant others or whoever is with you in hotels or whatever. And thank God for the Ronald McDonald House, and places like that. And it doesn't include, the surgery cost of the transplant, the hospital stay, it doesn't, you know what I'm trying to say at this point. But it's just all of that, and insurance are like, whatever, sucks to be you. It's like, well, fuck you too then. It's like, I'm paying you all this money and expect to not have to worry about paying extra money that I don't have. Like, my savings are drained because of my medical bills. And that's why I had to move back into my parents' house. I was making this $1,000 a month. I was paying rent. I was paying utilities. I had 4 credit cards I was trying to pay off. I had student loan debt I was paying down. And I had to stop all of that almost. I had to move back in here so I would be able to have the money to pay those bills. So I had to sacrifice my independence and my freedom just so I wouldn't get evicted and end up being homeless. Like, that is, it's fucking terrible how America treats its sick. I mean, the amount of women who just die from giving childbirth, it blows my mind, because they just don't, nobody respects anybody. Nobody cares. If they can't get money in their pockets, they don't care about you. We need reform on this. And Obama tried, and I was on the Affordable Health Care Act when it first started. I only paid $15 a month. It covered nearly everything. I had a hospital bill, only paid $400. That's still a lot of money, but compared to what I've had to pay as I've gotten older, is nothing. I would take that over that. And with that hospital bill, I not only was at Emory, a university hospital, at least nationally renowned hospital, for a week. It may have been more than that, but it was a lot. It wasn't too much to worry about. But I got like a colonoscopy because one of my medications was tearing my colon up. It was a side effect from it. At this point, I had the kidney for 9 years. I had x-rays done, all sorts of labs and tests run. And that $15 a month took care of a good chunk of that. So it can clearly be done. It's just in other countries, Sweden, the UK, France, Germany, all have universal health care. In Canada, yes, they have their problems. I'm not saying that they don't. But at least, you know, you're not going to go homeless because there's something that happens out of your control, or you get in a wreck, like somebody hits you or something like that, and you need major surgery to survive, or you need a blood transfusion. I've said this a million times, but I can't wrap my head around it. It aggravates me so much, like to the point of tears. I get so angry because all it is greedy fucking assholes wanting more money and not giving a shit about the people they're charging or anything like that. And I know there's so many more complications and details and stuff like that, but the base is simple, is that a country should take care of its people. And America is not taking care of its people. It is letting them down by pushing back healthcare reform, not letting it happen, trying to let private insurance companies do the pre-existing condition clause where they won't give you insurance if you already have something going on. So if I had a job, say I had a job that paid me tons and tons of money, but for some reason didn't come with any, and I will get onto that in a minute, didn't pay me any benefits, I still couldn't buy my own insurance with my own money because of this pre-existing clause, because I have a kidney transplant. And if I don't take my medications, if I don't have my medications, I lose my kidney. And then I would have to go back on dialysis. Well, I couldn't afford to go back on dialysis, so my body would slowly shut down because it can't filter out the toxins. Like, I couldn't eat. Just let me tell you what toxins are when your kidney doesn't work. It's potassium. So you can't have potatoes, you can't have peanut butter, you can't have apples, you can't have bananas, you can't have ice cream, you can't have cheese, you can't have milk. Anything with potassium in it or high sodium. So you can't have french fries. They're out the fucking window. You can't have anything. And you can't have potato chips. Can't have a PB&J. Jelly has too much potassium in it. That's toxins. I'm not talking about alcohol or drugs or anything like that. I'm talking about things that you eat every day. You can no longer have because your body can't process it. And so when your body can't process those, your body starts to shut down because those are things that you still need. And your fluids start to back up. Your lungs fill up with fluid. You can't breathe. You're basically drowning in your own fluids. Do insurance companies care about that? No. No, they don't. They're like, okay, you can go fuck off. You can go die in a ditch. We don't care. And that's how our American government sees that too. They're like, oh, they're poor, so fuck them. Like, it wouldn't matter if I'm poor or rich if I can't get healthcare. If I'm rich, I would have the luxury of spending that hundreds of $1,000s on whatever I needed. But that's not gonna fucking happen. So, because the 1% is just that. 1%. That is insignificant in the 7 million people we have in this country. And then, like, back on the jobs giving benefits. They're supposed to, under the ACA, the Affordable Health Care Act, or as it has been coined, the Obamacare, they will claim it's a full-time position, but then schedule you at 35 hours a week. So when they tell you it's a perk that you get to leave early on Fridays, it's really just them avoiding having to pay you benefits. That's all that is. It's not a perk. It's a loophole they found, and they're exploiting it. That's why I refuse to settle for any more jobs that don't provide benefits. And like, I had started a new job last week. I was really excited about it, and they had talked about their listing had talked about benefits, 401k, health, vision, all that good stuff. And I was like, okay, cool, I can get on that. I don't have to worry about Medicaid anymore. And Medicaid, you have to make under $14,000 a year to be on Medicaid. So you have to be dirt poor. It's not people taking advantage of the system. It is difficult as hell to get approved for it. I wouldn't have gotten approved for it if I didn't have the kidney. If I didn't have this medical emergency, if I didn't have the cancer scare, if I would not have gotten, if I'm just like, hey, I need some insurance, they would have been like, no. And so you have to be dirt poor, under the poverty line, to get it. Have to have a chronicalized reason as to getting it, other than just basic coverage and needing something in case something happens. You have to have a solid reason, medical reason, to get it. It's not easy to get, even though, like I said earlier, $2 or whatever. I've never seen more than $2 come out of my check, no matter how much I was making. Go to Medicaid, and this is state, because it varies state by state. I'm speaking from my own experience and from Georgia. I want to make that very clear. I live in Georgia. It's Georgia Medicaid, state Medicaid, and it's my experience with it and with the healthcare system. I'm sure in other states, maybe it's a whole hell of a lot better. Maybe it's worse. But it has caused me so much stress and pain just to get basic care. I had to go to an urgent care center today to get antibiotics, and they're like, why don't you have a primary doctor? I'm like, I'm on Medicaid. And like, do you have a job? Like, no, not in the moment. I quit last week because it wasn't what it was supposed to be. And those, like, they said they were going to be giving me benefits, and the benefits were never brought up whatsoever. None of the paperwork, nothing. I was like, no. We agreed to 2 different things here, and we're not having that. And it's like, I'm 28 damn years old. I'm not settling for shit. If I'm not settling for a relationship, I'm sure as hell not settling in something far more important, such as my health. I'm not playing around with that. I take care of myself. I take my medicines on time every day. I exercise. I eat right. I don't eat high sodium things. I keep the potassium intake to a minimum. Even though my body can process this now, I don't want to put extra strain on it because I only have one working kidney. I want to keep it as long as I can. And it's just like these rich fucking assholes who could pay for anything and everything and have never had anything bad happen to them. They're like, oh, well, I can take care of it, so why can't you? Or work harder. Get a job that pays you benefits. I'm like, I fucking had one. It didn't pay for shit. What more do you want from me? I'm working my ass off for fucking nothing. I can't even live out on my own because I've had to pay all these medical bills. And you're just gonna sit there and say I'm fucking lazy? No, fuck you. Alright, I'm starting to get loud and heated. But it's so serious. It's just like I didn't have insurance for 6 months. And that's another thing. It's like, I was filing my taxes, and it's like, if I hadn't gotten on Medicaid, I would have had to pay a tax penalty. Like, that clause was only put in there to pacify those who didn't want healthcare reform. Because they're like, well, we gotta find out a way to get money out of this somehow. Like, you have so much money. Like, I just can't comprehend being that horrible. I'm like, if you have that much money, you should be trying to do good with it. And not just weigh down your pockets. You can't take it with you when you die, so what's the point? I'm like, sure, you can give it to your kids and your family, but that's gonna be out the window. So, I don't understand. I don't understand how a country can just let so many people die because they don't want to change their healthcare system. That they don't want to provide a basic human need and right for their citizens, just to make sure that they're healthy and safety. They spend all this money on don't drink and drive, don't do drugs campaigns, but that aren't effective, that don't work. Don't drink and drive, don't do drugs. I'm not advocating for that, but don't. I'm just saying that money could be spent elsewhere, like universal healthcare. And if we model it after like how Sweden and Germany have, it would be effective. It would be helpful. There's a reason like those are the top countries in the world, all around, because they take care of their citizens. Like, and how these people keep getting voted for is beyond me, but that's a whole different rant altogether. I'm just like, and like, it terrifies me not to have insurance. Because it's just like those medical bills, I was sick for a while, like before Christmas, all of that. I was sick for a while. I was terrified of going to the doctor because I can't afford a medical bill. That I'm just like, every time I get mail, I'm just like, please don't let it be a bill. So I don't have the money. Even when I was working, I didn't have the money. And that is so, so scary to me. But I have to go to the doctor to make sure I'm not fucking dying. I'm just like, I'm 28. I want to live my life. And I feel like I can't if I'm always worried about a medical bill or bills in general. And it shouldn't be a concern. That doesn't mean, we get it and then go be reckless. Of course not. Be responsible and smart about everything. But it just terrifies me not to be able to see if anything's wrong. If I hadn't gotten my pap smear done back in April of 2018, I wouldn't have known I had HPV. And I wouldn't have known that I had precancerous cells developing in my cervix. And that would have easily become full-blown cancer if I hadn't caught it early. And it's because I had doctors who took Medicaid and, didn't look down on you for having it. And were like, you are a human being and you deserve respect in the treatment just as anybody else would. And so it's like, it's so mind-boggling. It's like, how many people have died of cancers because they didn't get checked because they didn't have a doctor to go to? How many people have died just from like an infection, like their knee got scraped or something and they didn't clean it out properly, but they didn't think it was bad enough to go to the doctor and died from that? And I'm like, this is shit you hear that happens in developing countries that have no infrastructure or anything like that. It shouldn't be happening there either, but it definitely shouldn't be happening in the US. We were supposed to be some superpower, the best country in the world. Well, then fucking prove it by providing for your citizens and taking care of your citizens. This is just absolutely mind-boggling. I don't understand. If anybody else understands, if you have any ideas on how to reform the section, like, I could go into details and I could pull up statistics, but like I said, I'm tired of looking at statistics. Just because there shouldn't be statistics on this. If anything, there should be statistics on people doing stupid shit that got them killed. Not because of avoidable things at all. Yeah. So, I'm going to end the rant there. Pretty sure I got everything off my chest about it. But it's just ridiculous. So, what are your thoughts and all that good stuff? I love you. Alright. Bye.